And if you was just by yourself and you ain't told nobody, you could have put a ramp together. You could have put a lever together. You could have put a piece of wood and a barrel under it and used the fulcrum as the barrel and use your force to be multiplied and lifted the couch up. Okay, you could have maybe figured that out if you was just by yourself. But because you told all these people that wasn't trying to help you anyway, now the task feel unbearable and now I feel impossible because you told the wrong people. So then what do you need to do? You need to tell somebody. That's why you need to fish. Okay, that's why you need to fish. You need to fish by using things that ain't quite the situation but close to it. Because check this out, you want to eliminate people and sift out the wrong people from trying to help you. Okay, so check this out. The people that don't have the patience to listen to the analogies you want to bring up, the people that don't have the patience when you say, I know a God is feeling this way, or I know a God is dealing with this situation or this problem. If you see them come after that guy you making up in your head, you know you can't trust them. And you keep it moving, okay? You keep it moving. You send an analogy out there that apply to your situation, and it's the scale. Make sure it's similar, but not too similar. And you tell them that, and you see how they react to that. They don't pay attention. Don't tell them your business. Don't tell them your situation. Just keep it moving, okay? Some of y'all may be in a situation where you think you can tell your wife. You may not be able to tell your wife, okay? Maybe telling your wife making it worse in some situations, depending on what type of wife you have, depending on what type of relationship you have, depending on what type of kids you have, depending on what type of support system you have in your family. But sometimes you can't even tell them because they don't have the correct response that's gonna help you deal with the situation, assess it, and do what you need to do with it. Okay? So you need to learn to fish people out, okay? And you need to not tell everybody that you had your situation. And you also need to get in your own time, get in your own space, and try to solve the problem. Another thing you need to do, tighten your circle of control, okay? Tighten your circle of control. This is what I mean by that. When you're dealing with depression and despair, oftentimes it's stuff that you can't control, but there's always something that you can control. And that's sometimes what you gotta focus on, to give yourself the endorphins and the sense of accomplishment to make you feel that much better, to get you that much ahead so you can chip away at that feeling of depression and despair. Just chip away at it a little bit. You ain't gonna solve it all the way, but if you just chip away at it, you'll be a little bit better than you were before. Okay, so maybe it's boxing, okay? Maybe it's wrestling, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's running, you know, maybe it's playing a sport, maybe it's playing football, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's sewing, maybe it's artistic stuff. It could be all kind of stuff. But whatever it is, you tighten your circle of control, and don't let it be something like drugs or food or something like that has adverse effects, okay? It may be tinkering with a car in your garage. It may be making model cars. It may be making model planes. It could be all kind of stuff. It could be playing with drones. It could be all kind of stuff. But you tighten your circle of control and you balance that, okay, with spending time alone to actually deal with your problem, okay? And then also spending time to build your tightness of control, okay? So you can do something that you control, that you love, that's not hurting nobody else, but it's helping you in your own self-esteem. And also, you fishing, okay? Fishing through your own friends, your network, so on and so forth, okay? Through people that you can trust. Now check this out, even Jesus, as many people as he reached in his lifetime, he only had 12 disciples, and when it got really real, he only had 3 people he could tell what's going on, okay? So when you're doing your fishing, it may not be a lot of people, and that's okay. Because once you find your people through your fishing, when you see the character of patience that people have, when you see the character of love people have, and you see the character of investment, okay? When you see people that's willing to invest in you, okay? Then you know, okay, this is somebody that really care about my well-being. This is somebody that's really listening to me. This is somebody that's really checking on me. And when you're doing these things simultaneously, it chip away at that depression. It chip away at that despair, okay? But that ain't gonna get it all the way, okay? That's just gonna help you navigate, okay? That's just gonna help you navigate, okay? Now I'm gonna talk to you about the big event, okay? The big event is that one day when it get really bad, okay? that one day it get really bad. That one day it get really bad. When you feel like you don't have nobody, you missed a couple of calls, you feel really alone, and you feel like you can't take it anymore. And you call about 15 people. Now this happens to people, okay? You can check police reports, you can check coroner reports, okay? Before suicide, a lot of times people call a bunch of people at once, okay? Now there's a lot of people, check this out, that will live their whole life trying to act like they don't have this problem, okay? Okay, so they act like they don't have this problem. They think they can tough it out, and then this one day, it gets so tough for them that they can't bear it, and they start making all these calls, and all those calls, they happen to miss the calls, people busy, so on and so forth, and then they die, okay? But see, what they don't understand is that pressure that they putting on those people, they should have redistributed that pressure earlier and had the support people in place, tried to look for them in place, okay, and tried to figure out what's going on, what's behind it, before it got all the way up to this point, okay? Because by the time it get to this point, you're almost at your breaking point, okay? You're almost at your breaking point. So what do you need to do when you get at your breaking point, okay? That's what we're gonna deal with right now, okay? Check this out. When you at your breaking point, sometimes you need to look backwards and not forwards. Sometimes when you're at your breaking point, you need to look backwards and not forwards. You need to look at the time, okay, when did I start feeling like this? What time of day did I start feeling like this? I didn't feel like this last week. I enjoyed myself a few weeks ago. So what happened this week that caused me to feel this way? Well, wait a minute. It was Wednesday. It was when Jimmy and them said I ain't doing nothing with my life. And I showed him my new car. Yeah, I bought the Lexus. That was a 2010. And then Jimmy and them said, well, it can't outrun my Ford F-150, so that ain't nothing. I thought at the time that it didn't hurt me. Then I drank a bunch of alcohol, felt lonely, didn't want to talk to my friends anymore. Now I'm in this place. See, when you start recollecting and you start walking it back, you can look at the point of origin that made you start feeling that way in the first place. So while you calling people and trying to sort out your situation, right? While you calling people and you're also trying to sort out your situation too, okay? So you're both working together, okay? You're using a combination of things together to help mitigate the effects of the depression and despair, okay? So check this out. What you need to do then, okay? You need to quit hanging around Jimmy. You need to quit telling them things that's important to you. You know, part of people's problem, the reason why they depressed is because they telling important people, they telling things that's important to them to people that don't care about what they care about, okay? Sometimes you can't tell people about your victories. You can't tell people about your sorrows or your victories. Some people you can't trust them, okay? So by taking the amount of people out that's causing the problem and also seeking the people that's gonna be a solution, right? Now you twofold helping your situation, okay? Now you're taking the pressure off, okay? So now when it get to this really high pressure moment, now you at least have the patience to get you through another day. And a lot of these people that commit suicide on the day that they commit suicide, all these people that they call him back. They call him back the next day or a few hours. All they had to do was wait a little bit longer, and then they would have received a phone call and they would have been all right. That's why I take working all these things together to take this down. Because when you realize how dangerous this thing is and you take it serious, then you do all the things and put them things in place. And then you do what you need to do and you deal with these feelings of despair before they turn into suicide and high levels of depression, okay? But I'm gonna bring you back to the God moment, right? Remember I told you that it take God to solve this problem, okay? It could be a situation where you do all of these things, okay? Now these things gonna have a mighty effect, but you might do all these things and it ain't enough. And that might be a situation where you need God himself to come save you from your situation. You might need God himself to come save you from your depression and your despair, okay? Because sometimes God himself will allow you to have these feelings so you can turn to him. Sometimes God himself will allow you to feel these ways because He knows that's the only way that you're going to wake up and turn to him. So you might have to turn to him even after you do all these things. But if you take these tools and use them, it's going to get you a whole lot further than where you at when you put them all together. So what are we going to do? We're going to assess the situation. We're going to assess what's the origin of this despair. What's the origin of this? We're going to take time alone. We're going to take time in quiet and do this. And what else we going to do? We're going to quit telling people. Don't announce it. Don't broadcast it. And then what else we going to do? We're going to fish. We're going to fish and see, okay, what people can I talk to? What people can I not? Using analogies. Using small-scale versions of the problem. Eliminate people before they get all the way into the heart of the situation and really hurt you, right? Also, we're gonna tighten our sphere of control, okay? Tighten our circle of control, where you do habits and things that build up your character, build up your person, that don't hurt nobody else, don't affect nobody else, but it at least give you that sense of accomplishment to fight what the despair and depression is doing to you, right? So then you move forward, okay? And so then when you have moments of flare-ups where you feel like you can't take it, then you walk back and look at what caused that flare-up. Because you wasn't always feeling as bad as you are right now. So you gotta look at what caused you to feel that way. And then whatever caused you to feel like that, look at how you can walk back and undo that for the next time, so you don't be put in that situation again and don't feel that way and don't have that sort of flare-up. And then after you've done all of that, you may have to call on God. And it may take him to heal you of these feelings. But count it as joy. Because being depressed and having despair is a whole lot better than being arrogant and thinking you got it all in control. And thinking that you got it made and you don't see further and really see what your life is really about. That's how you deal with depression. That's how you deal with despair and suicidal thoughts and things in this world. That's my message on the day. You take care.